Hi guys, BuildZoid here, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a warm-up video because, yeah, I haven't really recorded anything that I consider like a proper video for the last several, like 14, 15, no, actually at this point it's like 16 days or something. So yeah, basically, we're going to be disassembling this lovely thing right here. This, of course, is a GTX 780 Ti Kingpin Edition classified, well, classified Kingpin Edition. And this is the first Kingpin Edition card I have that actually works. Because I do have a 980 Ti that I got off of eBay, but that had a cracked core. So that one doesn't work. I've removed the dead core, but I've still not figured out how to replace the core. So, yeah. Anyway, this one, on the other hand, should be working. So, that's good. I've not actually checked that it works, but I bought it as working. So, yeah. And anyway, so we'll take it apart and just take a look inside, take a look at it. As far as I know, this isn't actually that different from the regular 780 Ti classified. It's not quite the same. Like the 980 Ti classified versus the 980 Ti Kingpin Edition, you have a big difference in those cards. But with these, I think the changes are very, very minor. Like, you get the same power delivery and everything, and this one just adds a couple extra LN2 features. But still, like, this right here is basically one of my favorite GPU heatsinks in terms of looks, just because, like, I know a lot of people find it to look like they don't like the look, but I really like it. I think it's really sick that you're able to, like, ideally, you could see all the way to the PCB, but obviously that doesn't work because you need there's heat spreaders for the memory chips and the VRM and everything, so you can't see all the way to the PCB. But I do really like the sort of like the frosted look, and then you can see the fin stack through it. Now, obviously, you can see this one's a bit dusty because it is used, and, well, these are actually a pain to clean. Like, these EVGA shrouds are an absolute nightmare to clean because EVGA, for some ungodly reason, decided that... So you can see this screw right here, right? So there's another screw right here, which is under this sticker. So that's really annoying because I don't know how I'll get into that without actually damaging the shroud. Well, damaging the sticker, which I don't really want to do because, again, like, I've partially bought this card for its looks, right? I think it looks great, so don't really want to be breaking that, but at the same time, I do want to clean it, so it's going to be a bit of an adventure. And other than that, I do have I have 4 780 Ti's at this point. 2 of them are classifieds. One of them is an Asus DirectCU 2, and then we have this one. So I can do like 3-way 780 Ti's, 4-way 780 Ti's now, which is pretty cool. So anyway, enough about, enough random stuff, talking about random things. Let's take the card apart. Just use these plastic tubs for storing all the screws, so that's what I was getting. Actually, I think this card... Oh yeah, this is one of those... So there's no screws over here, right? So that means we can actually pull the shroud, like the heatsink, without pulling anything else. So we're going to do that first. Oh. Now it should let go. I have the camera aimed wrong. I can put that out of the way. Oh, there we go. What's it stuck on? Right, so it gets stuck on the lip here, on the... You can see how that's curved over, so yeah, it's getting stuck on that. And we're gonna need to... Okay, I need a flathead. That's not flat enough, but we'll see. Okay, no, screw that. I'm getting a knife. It's easier. Okay, nope, this isn't working. I don't know why I decided to try record this. That was a terrible idea. There's no screws over here. What the? Oh, right. Okay, no, I forgot one. This one right here. Yeah, now it's letting go. I thought it was getting jammed. Like, I've had that on other cards where they'd get stuck on the lip of the PCIe slot, but... Nope, here it's just a screw. Okay, well... There we go. Okay, so the thermal paste is in god-awful condition, so good thing I tore it apart. Bit of dust on the red. I really like the red highlights on this. Like, I really think this is the most, like, yeah, this is the best looking GPU out there. Well, one of them. Anyway. Let's pull that fan header. I hate that connector. I really do. Oh, well, I really screwed that up. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, well, I just borked that really badly. I was trying to get it by the plastic part, so that's a first. Like, that's actually the first time I've actually managed to do that, but you can see that I've ripped out the actual connector, so that's going to be a fun thing to try fix. This is such a stupid connector. Like, the thing is like, you're not really supposed to be disconnecting it ever, but... Man. Okay, you know what? I'll just take the... There we go. Okay, well, now it's out. Freeze the card. I think these are guaranteed to have Samsung memory chips on them, so that'll be interesting to see if that's actually the case. Yeah, and the dust buildup's a bit... Yeah, it's pretty dusty. Especially in the memory VRM is a disaster. So yeah, you've got 3-phase memory VRM, 14-phase V-core. This is the standard 14-phase VRM that EVGA used on like the 580. Well, I think it's standard. They might have changed the MOSFETs around since some of the past cards, like a 580 has something that looks very similar. 580 classified, that is. 680 classified looks the same as well, but the thing is the MOSFETs themselves could be slightly different. And the controllers do change, so I think this is going to be on a... This should be on an 8318, but it could maybe even be already on a 30... Nah, it's an 8318. It's going to be an 8318. The 3595 is for, like, even newer cards than that. And actually, I'm just going to take care of the dust on there. I don't really want it getting all over my desk, so... Not the worst, though. Like, this is not the, like, most dusty GPU I've ever dealt with. At least it doesn't smell like cigarettes. That's always the worst. When you get a secondhand card from a smoker, it's just like, well, now the whole room smells like cigarettes. Because it gets caught in the heatsink, and then you turn the card on, and it just blows the smell absolutely everywhere. Oh, and we've also got more dust around the capacitors there. Actually, I'll just use... There we go. Okay. Now I feel happy with taking off the plates. Now, you might be wondering, why is the base plate actually split right across here? And that's so that you can keep this for VRM cooling when you're running the card on liquid nitrogen. Now, admittedly, this is not going to do a particularly great job of cooling anything, considering that it's literally a flat red plate. But, well, the assumption is that you're going to run the card with, like, a delta fan strapped to it. So, you know, when you got 4,000 RPM of airflow, you kind of don't need so much surface area anymore. Come on. I think that's one of the yeah, okay. 3 more screws and one of the plates will pop off. Up. So, I'm trying to support the PCB of the card when I'm unscrewing screws so that, you know, I'm not unnecessarily flexing it by, like, pushing down on it with a screwdriver. That should have got us this plate. This one's the worst because obviously it's got the thermal pads for the memory chips and it's a lot of surface area. Wait, did I get all of them? Only, well, that one's still in there for some reason. Come on. Man. Like, it's not screwed in anymore, but... Come on. There we go. Oh, right, so, yeah, they have the... You can see the PCIe bracket sliding through there, so that's what was holding the screw in place, because... Well, whatever. Okay, now the plate should... Up. There we go. Oh, yeah, so, obviously... Yeah, I'm going to be replacing the thermal pads on that. They're all disgusting at this point from dust. Anyway, so that's one of the plates. And let's see. Yep, Samsung memory. Not really much else to talk about there. I mean, yep. As far as I know, I think this, and maybe even the 980 Ti KPE did this, but apparently this card, I think, has better memory timings than what you get on, like, regular 780 Ti's, so it's actually faster per clock than a regular 780 Ti. So that'll be interesting to see if that's actually the case when I compare it against my regular classifieds. As well as the DirectCU 2 card I have, because that one, for some reason, scores really badly. Okay. Now the back plate comes off, which there's no thermal... Well, oh, they do have some thermal pads right behind the core. So that's pretty neat. And, yeah, but the rest of the back plate is not used for any kind of cooling whatsoever. So, you know, I guess it could be used to improve the thermals of the VRM a bit. So, I can get this plate off. We'll find out what the VRM is. Oh, that is a very big thermal pad. I was only expecting it to cover the MOSFETs, but they actually have them all the way up to the drivers. Let's check out what MOSFETs these are. I need some extra light for that. Okay, so 6725s and 6721s. So that's actually exactly the same. Yeah, that's exactly the same as what they used on the GTX 580 classified. So right off the bat, I can tell you that this VRM can push 400 amps at 1.6 volts while producing about 63 watts of heat. And that'll still be at around 91% efficiency. So, yeah, like there's a reason why they kept using this VRM for ages and ages and ages, and it's because it's really freaking good. So, yeah. Also, I wonder how the power connectors are allocated right now. Because I think this might be just for the memory. Anyway, so we've got the 14-phase V-core, 3-phase memory power, Then we have a... Oh, that's a shame. They didn't label what the switches do, because we have one switch over here and another switch over there. But I'll have to look up what those do. I think one of them is like for droop settings on vCore, and the other one is for... Actually, no. If I'm not mistaken, then all of the safety features get removed by the BIOS switch, which I think this is just a 2... Wait. Oh, nope. Yeah, so this is just a 2-channel, I think. Actually, no, it feels like there's a... No, it's a 2-channel. So, they have a... The card has dual BIOS. I mean, the other way you can tell it has dual BIOS is if you just look at the BIOS switch chips right over here. Right, the red... like, the chip with the red dot and the one with the white dot. Yeah, those are your BIOS chips over there. So, anyway, that's kind of it. You know, I'm going to have to clean this thing at this point because it is very dusty. The back... Oh, man, that is actually really... Yeah, that's really quite bad. But, yeah, like, the thing is, the 780 Ti KPE, I mean, as far as I know, the main difference against the classifieds is that they add, like, those 2 switches over here. Like this one and, well, they're 2-channel switches, so it's actually like 4 switches in total. But this switch and that switch. I kind of I do still wonder about how the power is assigned around the card. Which we can check that right now. I'll just grab a multimeter. The video is not 30 minutes yet, therefore it's not too long. So... There we go. I'll just go off of the shunt resistors because I'm too lazy to actually remember which side the plus 12 volts on is. Go from this one. Okay, so that 8-pin powers that phase, and does it power this phase? Oh, wait. You can't probably... I'll zoom you in a bit. There we go. So... I'm going to try get my hat... Man, I don't have enough space to work in for this. I mean, like, the mic's in the way and everything, so... Okay, so we're going to go up against that. And then... So, these direct FETs right here, like this style of MOSFET with the metal packaging, the actual casing of the MOSFET itself is the... is the drain? Yeah. It's the drain of the MOSFET. So... Yeah, you can actually measure off the top of them. It also means that, like, on the high side ones, you just have 12 volts sitting on top of the packaging. So if you tried to run these without, like if you tried to put thermal paste instead of thermal pad on top of these, you could potentially really short circuit the crap out of everything. So that's something to definitely... And also it means that they're a massive, like, if you get water on top of these, that's also really dangerous because, again, like, there's just 12 volts sitting right there on top of that casing. And then this one over here, that's the, yeah, that's the switch node. Well, these are, it's all, like, the casing's always the drain, if I'm not mistaken, but these are going to be the switch nodes, so these will intermittently have the 12-volt pulses from the PWM action. So anyway, that right there is, oh, and the multimeter I'm using has, like, 3 digits of, like 0. It goes down to milliohms. So when it says 0.0, like 0.089, that means it's a dead, like that's a direct connection. So the first 8-pin powers that phase, and that's that phase 2, this phase 2, and this phase also, and that phase as well. And that phase also, and also that phase, and not this phase, which I expected. So this phase is on the other 8-pin, and so is this one, and so is this, yep, that one as well, and that one as well, and that one as well, and that one too, and that one as well. So that's pretty neat. That sort of all of the vCore is just connected to the 2 8-pins, so I wonder if any of the memory power goes there. I doubt it. I think the 6-pin is literally dedicated to the memory rail. Which basically, yeah, I think the 6-pin's dedicated to memory power. Just as a sanity check, I'll check, like, try a few of these. Yeah, okay, I'm right about that. So, if we go... So with these MOSFETs, it's a bit more awkward to get them... Actually, I'll swap probes, because this one is a probe that I, like, snapped the tip off of somehow, and so I had to sharpen that one down manually, which is why it's so... It's really fat, so kind of not too accurate. Okay. Come on. Okay, there we go. And yeah, so the 6-pin seems to be entirely dedicated to the... So I wonder what they're powering from the PCIe slot. I guess they'd be powering like the minor rails like this down here. That's the PEX rail. There's also a 1.8 volts rail somewhere on the like that end of the card. So I assume that's also running off of the PCIe slot, because evidently, like, we go vCore to PCIe slot. Yeah, nothing. They don't seem to be powering any... So that's pretty neat, though, because that means if you measure the power going into the 8-pins, that tells you exactly the power draw of the vCore VRM. Sorry for hitting the mic. And then if you measure the 6-pin power draw, then it tells you the memory power draw, which is pretty neat. Though I'll still check that it's not also powering something like this rail down here. I'm not sure which pins on this chip that would be, but... Oh no, that it is powering that, I think. Yeah, okay, looks like it's also powering that. Because I think this is the bulk capacitance for this converter down here. Like the input bulk capacitance, the output would be, well, just the multi-layer ceramics going up towards the core. That's interesting. This doesn't seem to use the PCIe slot at all. Unless, because the thing is actually, you can see these MOSFETs over here, these little... like extra ones, that's actually current balancing circuitry. So there's a chance that maybe some of the like vCore phases and some of the memory power sometimes gets switched over. Actually, yeah, so I assume depending on how many power connectors you have plugged in, the card might reassign some of the like it might reassign the memory VRM to the PCIe slot, and it might reassign some of the phases in vCore to the well, it might change how the power is distributed. So, yeah. Also, these have a tendency to blow up on car. Like, I've seen a lot of NVIDIA GPUs where these blew up for some reason. So they're like an extra failure point, which is just like, oh, that's great. I've not heard of a KPE blowing those up, but I've heard of like Hall of Fame cards with those being blown, and then a bunch of like reference cards but reference NVIDIA cards blow up everything, so there it's just kind of like there's a good chance that if something blows up on a reference NVIDIA card, like one of these, it's actually because one of the VRMs downstream blew up, and then that just kind of acted as a fuse for it. Anyway, so... yeah, I can't wait to take this card out for a spin. Unfortunately, I have too many cards that I need to take for a spin, and I'm very bad about actually getting around to doing that. So, yeah. Well, at least I no longer have to be worried about these no longer, like, the thing is like, they didn't make that many of the Kingpin editions, and the same goes for a lot of the other hardware that I'm, like, kind of hoarding, where it's like, well... someday I'll want it, and it'll be really hard to find at that point, so it's better to just kind of have it already. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. That's all I really want to talk about. It's not really that, like, well, yeah, it's just a teardown video, so... yeah, and I'm not going to be doing a PCB breakdown of this, just because I don't really see a point of doing that, considering that, like, the VRM hasn't changed on these cards for up until the 980 Ti classified. EVGA just keeps using this exact vCore, this exact memory VRM, and so it's like, I don't really see a point of doing a PCB breakdown of this. Oh, I think they beefed up the PEX rail on this compared to the classifieds. Like, I think the classifieds have a weaker voltage regulator for the PEX rail. But... Anyway, and then they added the switches, which I unfortunately like. I don't see a point in doing a full PCB breakdown for just like a pair of switches. So on a card. So yeah, that's it for the video. Oh yeah, and then there's the EV bot header, but I think the classifieds have that as well. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, leave any comments, questions, suggestions down in the comment section below. And if you'd like to support what I do here with actually hardcore overclocking, well then you can support me through Patreon, which obviously helps with funding purchases like this. And then there's also the AHOC Teespring store, where you can pick up shirts, stickers, posters. Same thing. It also helps funding purchases like this right here, right? So, yeah, that's it for the video. And thanks for watching. Oh yeah, and links to both Patreon and Teespring down in the description below. So yeah, if you'd like to help out the channel, you can through those. And that's it for the video. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.